What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and welcome to the Shy Season 2, Episode 3 recap for Past Due. Now, let's get into it. When the episode starts off, we see Ronnie in the kitchen. He's cooking bacon and eggs and pancakes, got it looking all good, and he's doing it for Jason and his mama. And I mean, as beautiful as she is, of course, somebody gonna be cooking. And the boy is happy, she's happy. And she said, I can't believe you cooked all this so early in the morning, Ronnie. He said, I'm still on military time, baby. And so she give him a kiss and everything. She say, so what you gonna get into today? Well, I'm gonna go and help out my grandma, and me and Jason gonna get into something. She say, I want you to get a good job at the post office. He say, I'm gonna take care of you. Meanwhile, we see now Detective Cruz looking at his confession tape when Detective Scary Curl come in saying, what's up with that confession? Then he said, look, he confessed on tape. She said, yeah, but the blood toxicology said he was twice the legal limit. You better make sure that this stick or it's gonna be on our ass. Meanwhile, we see Emmett, and he and Sonny's chicken shit cooking, and he complaining about how he don't have no privacy and space at his pop's house. And then Sonny saying, hey, look, boy, you ain't a man unless you take care of your kids. Now, she doing what's right by trying to be a good mama. And he said, wait a minute, what is this fool right here doing? And they look, and he say, oh, wait, hold up, man. I know this dude. Let me go talk to him. And so he go outside. This Brandon parking this little roach coach. He said, look, man, you can't park right here. He said, why not? This is free. I can park here. It's me and Sonny sell different stuff. He said, look, man, I don't know what your problem is, but you got to move. This roach coach. He said, man, you better get up out of here, man. He said, I'm not about to fight you over no chicken. He said, fine, I'm out. So then next thing you know, one of the workers tell Emmett to hurry up. Something wrong with Sonny. He run inside. Sonny is laid out. He like, Sonny, what's going on? And Sonny trying to talk, but he all screw-faced, eyes bulging. He said, try to smile. He said, man, I think he having a stroke. Call 911. Meanwhile, we see Kevin and his two moms, and they are sitting there, and they going to meet to testify. And this guy come up to talk to him. He like, I admire your courage in spite of what may happen normally. And she said, what you mean? He said, let me talk to you in private. Pulls them to the side to whisper mean somethings in their ear to scare them off. And so after they get through talking to him, they come and leave and grab Kevin. They like, while they talking to Kevin's sitting there worried. Then they go and grab Kevin. They like, come here, Kevin. And he say, what's up? What's wrong? He say, look, we done had enough. You done did enough. Let's go. And so they take him and leave without giving him testimony. And he's standing there watching walk off. He walk on over. And next thing you know, it's Ronnie's lawyer. And she slides him a little change and say, thanks for the assist. And then walks off. So he basically was working for her. Meanwhile, we see Brandon, and he going back to his mammy house. And then he sees the mail, and we see Big Gravy talking crazy, talking about his credit and how he ain't did this or that. He said, you must have got the call too. He said, yeah, man, it's messed up. He about to get out of jail. He said, yeah, I know. And plus your mama ain't coming back. Then he get a knock at the door. It's Detective Cruz. He said, man, what do you want? He said, look, it'd be great if your mom or somebody could write this victim statement. I know it's got to be hard on you. He said, you damn right it's hard. How you couldn't imagine. Of course you can't. Why you ain't doing your job? All these people locked up for nothing, and you gonna let this dude walk out after he confessed on tape? How about you do this? How about you leave me and my family alone? And slam the door in his face, got him looking stupid. Meanwhile, we see the lawyer for Ronnie talking, saying, hey, look, there's no eyewitness didn't show up. And then the prosecutor's trying to argue against it. They say, look, in the best of circumstances, eyewitness testimony doesn't even amount all the way. This kid even shot my client, and we don't know what's going on. Plus, he was intoxicated. The judge says, this true? Let me review this. Meanwhile, we see Mr. Bookman, and he's celebrating the top fundraisers, and he's saying, I'm not trying to put anybody on blast, but you all are doing good, and the last two spots is for Papa and this girl. And so Papa like, come on, Kev, I need to step my game up. I need to get this flat screen. He said, man, this is weak, man. Plus they got this for free, and then they got the TV, then they selling these boxes. They gonna make $700 for a $400 TV. He said, man, who is you, Rain Man? Mr. Bookman said, look, since you can do the math, how about you start earning some money for us too? And so then we see Ronnie, and he's talking to his lawyer, and he's saying, hey, man, so what's what's going on with the testimony? She said, I ain't heard nothing about that. Meanwhile, how you doing on the Pruno? He said, you tell me, you the bloodhound. She said, smells better. And so you think I like getting white supremacists and people off? Here's this assist that you needed too, this information. And she slide him a piece of paper. Meanwhile, we see Papa and Kev, and they trying to talk, and they going deciding what they gonna do. He said, I can't keep watching the Bible channel, man. I gotta get my own TV. I'm trying to upgrade the Papa Cave. Then they see the bike from Maisha. He said, hey man, you can't ride on this. You don't know what dirt Maisha been doing. You can't be riding dirty. You need to take it back. He started thinking. Meanwhile, Detective Cruz, he looking at the confession on Ronnie, and then we see Detective Toussaint step up, and she say, so who is these guys right here? And she's showing a picture of Rev and Brandon. He say, man, he runs the gang over there. It used to be a guy named Trice before that, Q, but now the streets say they both are dead. Anyway, here's a list of everybody else. She said, okay, let me check it out. And so he give her the list. Meanwhile, we see Sonny's. He's got the store up there. Sonny got pictures of himself. Got a picture of Ben Wilson, who was the #1 high school basketball player in the U.S. at one time, but got shot and killed. And then his daughter comes, and she's saying, hey, look, they said that he would be dead if it wasn't for you. He talk about you a lot. Thank you. He said, hey, my mom, she a nurse, so I guess I learned some things. How he doing? He'll be all right. She said, look, we gonna probably close this place because I'm a vegan and I don't know about this. He said, well, let me run it. I can run it. She said, you sure? He said, yeah, let me run it. I need this job. We can still make money. Meanwhile, we see Brandon, and he with Pablo, and they cooking or whatever, and he's saying, man, all I'm trying to do is make money and do this, and then it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and now they trying to get this dude off. Then he get a phone call, and he's saying, oh man, yeah, I could do that. He say, hold up, after this next customer, let's close up shop. We got to roll. So next thing you know, we see he rolled to this big old pimp function for this funeral for this big old player from the Himalayas, and we see everybody with their pimp cups getting a little sham pipple, these beautiful thick ladies walking around, and Pablo like, oh man, I never seen nothing like this, bro. He said, yeah man, this right here, man, these pimps, I've been blowing up since that repass. Meanwhile, we see at the projects, Maisha, Kev trying to return the bike. He like, look, Maisha, you can't be giving me nothing I gave you back. Plus, I don't know what you did. She said, oh, you care about me? He said, no, I don't care about you. I just was bringing this back. I don't know what kind of trouble you gonna get me in. She said, oh, is that right? Well, anyway, I need you to bring me my homework. Meanwhile, we see Miss Ethel in the hospital, and Jada there caring for her when little Detective Tusi comes on up in there, and she knocking on the door, and she asks her, hey, could you identify who was there? She's like, well, yeah, it was one guy. He was an ugly little thing, too. She say, is any of these guys it? And she looks, she say, well, no, I don't know them. None of them boys. But it was one boy, and he came in, and he said he was an ex-vet. She said it was just one attacker. She said, yeah, it was just one. And then she started coughing and gagging, and then they said she need her rest. So Detective Toussaint, she, had to bounce. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie, and now he's at the prison's phone, and he's trying to make a call off that paper that the detective slipped him. And while he was waiting for it to ring, he's having a flashback when he was doing yard work for grandma. She was still looking kind of cute, and little Jason was playing ball. He was asking him who his favorite player. He said, Jordan, of course. Nah, you want some lemonade? And he said, yeah. And so he said, hey, grandma. And she said, hey, baby, I'm going to get you some lemonade. He said, all right, you work on your left hand dribbles while I go on and grab this lemonade. And so he went to go grab the lemonade. While he was dribbling, one of the boys knocked the ball out his hand. It rolled across the street into this other old man's yard. He went to go grab it. He said, hey, boy, keep that ball out my yard. Don't come over here. He said, yeah, whatever. And he said, what'd you say? And he ran and grabbed him. He said, you better say mister. And Ronnie came, get your hands off my boy. Leave my son alone. And then he grabbed him and started holding his hand hard. He said, you stay over here. He said, you ain't my daddy. And then he ran off, and now Ronnie looking stupid too. Meanwhile, back at this players ball, we see all the people with Brandon cooking. He like, man, we didn't had cooked up so much the damn stove broke, the burners out. And so one of the players like, hey, young blood, come here, man. Let me holler at you, player. And so we come and talk to him. He like, hey, man, what's going on, man? It's time to settle up, bruh. He said, how much I owe you? He said, 1,500. 1,500, that's that Ronald Reagan inflation, that boy. That's supposed to be about, you said 850. He said, you know what? I still got you right here. I'm gonna hook you up, boy. Here, take this. And then he gave him like a quarter pound of weed, couple ounces or something. He said, right here, you take that, you gonna end up making it whole up till it blow up right there, boy. You gonna end up owing me. He like, what I'm gonna do with this? He said, you gonna end up getting at least 800 for that. So he took it anyway. Meanwhile, back at Sonny's chicken pit, the girls is arguing, and he like, look, you can't be mean with the customers now. She talking about she rude. He said, look, I know they be upset, but you gotta be cool. She like, well, what happened to the other girl? She ain't come because she ain't want to be bothered with these people. And he said, man, where's the food? People complaining. He said, man, I only got one burner, plus the grease pit ain't empty. He said, you supposed to empty it. Your ass. Then this other dude said, hey, man, what's wrong with this chicken, man? It's burnt. I want my money back. And it was burned blacker than Michael Blackson. And he said, hey, man, that's just extra crispy. He said, extra crispy, my ass. I want my money. And so it looked like Emmett having problems. Meanwhile, Detective Toussaint, she's canvassing the hood, asking questions, and everybody sees she a cop. Soon as they see that, they closing the door. They ain't got nothing to say. And so she sees all these for sale signs and things up in the yards, and she's starting to take notice. And so one of these signs she sees has been around quite a bit. And so once she was getting ready to leave, this old lady called her and say, hey, come here, girl. You asking about Miss Ethel? I ain't afraid of these Negroes. I've been here 40 years. Let me see. And she showed her the picture. She said, well, I don't know none of these boys. She said, it is a white girl coming around asking people to sell their homes, though. So I don't know. She said, well, you know this white girl name? If you find any information, here's my card. And so she slipped her card. Meanwhile, we see Kev trying to sell his weed to his little cousin that's the weed connoisseur. This dude is holding it up to the light. He over here listening to the weed talk to him, saying, smoke me. Meanwhile, he's like, man, so what you think I can get? He say, man, I can get 800. This will settle this on the truck. He like, man, wait a minute. I needed that money. He said, I was going to pay you back later. How you going to pay me back later when I'm the one that invested with you? He said, well, how about you give me half then? Please. And then he said, all right, Brandon, I'll give you half, Lil E. And so he said, what's this right here? He said, oh, it's this little cooking competition like Taste Chicago that my school got going on, but you got to be in good standing and you got to have dishes and this and that. He said, so what's the problem? He said, man, I don't know. He said, man, your chakras is wrong, man. You need to get it together and use your mouthpiece. Meanwhile, we see Kevin, and he talking to Maisha, and so he sees that she got all these babies everywhere, and he brought her the homework. She say, so you want to come in? I made some cupcakes. I got too many. So he gave him the cupcake. He's sitting there. She watching her running a little daycare. He say, so where your mama? She got a new job. She got a lot of kids. So what's going on in school? He say, I don't really pay attention with that. She say, well, look, take these cupcakes to your big bone friend, Papa. Tell him don't eat them all. I'll see you later. So he's starting to feel a little bad for Maisha in a little soft spot, but he walk up out of there. He eating the cupcake when all of a sudden he see Coogie's Taco Corner and he see Brandon. So he take off running and pedaling as fast as he can. Brandon. And so Brandon hear him, so he slow down. He like, Lil E, what's up? He like, what's up, Kev? Hey, man. I just ain't that's messed up about that Ronnie dude. He like, yeah, that's messed up, man. Hey, what you doing, man? Hop in, man. Put your bike in the back. I give you a ride. And so they ride and they talking, and he's saying, man, look, I wish I could do more. He said, don't worry about it, man. You did the best you could, man. It's messed up. He said, so what is it like having a brother? He said, man, it was crazy, man. It was cool, but it was all kind of stuff, man. It was like my son almost. And so they riding around, and he said, so let me let you here listen to this, man. You good at school. I had to write this statement. Tell me what you think. And so he reading the statement or whatever off the receipt, and he said, man, that sound pretty good, man. He said, you sound like a cool guy. And he was damn near holding back tears and stuff. He said, yeah, man, I miss him a lot. He say, man, yeah, all I got is a sister to try to boss me around, man. And so then they kind of bonded a little bit. Meanwhile, we see Booger Beard when he was younger. He didn't cut it off. He got pretending like he got a rifle, got old pops in his scope. When grandma come and scare him, she say, when you gonna get a job, boy? Here go your disability check. I ain't disabled, grandma. And he take it and she say, well, you better go on and get that job for that girl. Meanwhile, he's back in reality and he's still in the pen. He talking to his lawyer and he say, so she said, look like they're gonna drop it. He's like, what you mean? I'm gonna be out? She said, yeah. He said, man, that's good that I got somebody on my side. She said, don't get it twisted. I ain't never been on your side. You think I like getting murderers and white supremacists off? I'm trying to be partner at my law firm. You make sure you do better when you get out. Meanwhile, Sonny's chicken pit line long as hell. He got an X on everything on the menu. They ain't got nothing in stock. You see this one Ashley Larry talking about, y'all got hush puppies, y'all got some fries, he said, man, all we got is chicken. He say, so when you say Sonny chicken pit, you really mean that, don't you? And then we see his baby mama walk in, and so he walk up, he talking to her, he saying, what's up, what you need? She like, look, he needs some money for his teeth to be fixed. He said, I'm already paying child support, what else? That ain't enough. He need to do this. He said, the boy only got 3 teeth. She said, F you, I'm out of here. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie, and he's going to get free, and all of a sudden, Detective Cruz come out of nowhere and start beating him up in the hallway and saying, man, what are you doing getting out? He said, man, you the one told me the boy was standing over his body. What you thought was going to happen? He said, oh, so this is how you do it? You know you killed that boy. He said, you know what? Since you feel I owe you, I won't tell my lawyer you assaulted me. And then he walked out of there, leaving Detective Cruz looking stupid. Meanwhile, we see Papa and Kev, and they on the side of the little liquor store trying to sell their candy. And they saying, man, this ain't working, man. I'm on the fast too. I need some money. And he said, fast? Your church, they about to be off today? And he said, the next thing you know, we see his father in there, and he's talking about, now don't y'all get ready to leave. We still got time, and I'm still teaching. And I know we all ready to, I feel the anointing of a 2-piece dark, extra crispy with sides. Oh, yes, sides. Amen. And then once they was done, they had their little booth set up. Soon as everybody came out, they like, $2, $2. And all the people was there because they've been fasting. And so they start making money real quick because everybody was ready for a little snacky poo. And so next thing you know, they rolling in the dough. He like, yeah, it's looking good, man. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie, and he on the phone, and next thing you know, Brandon answer. And so we see he was calling Brandon, but he didn't say nothing, and he just listening. And then next thing you know, he started to have a flashback, and he was remembering when he was with his beautiful girlfriend and Jason. And so he's thinking about where they is going, and then Jason told him that he hurt his hand, and she like, I don't know, Ronnie. You say you want to do the right thing, but you being a little too rough on him and stuff. He say, let's not make a big deal out of this. She say, I don't know. Maybe we need to take a break. And so we see Emmett, and he's sitting there texting back and forth with Tiff, and he's saying, can I drop off half the money after work? She said, F you. So you see after work, he knocking on the door, and she answered the door, and he say, look, here go my money for tips or whatever. Go get the boy teeth fixed. And so when he was walking away, she said, you want to come in? And so he comes on in after she invite him. And he like, so where my son? She like, well, he ain't here. He at my mama's. He like, so what you invite me for? You knew I wanted to see him. You playing games. And she like, you know what? F you. He said, you know what? I used to F you, but now I don't. That's why you mad. Next thing you know, they all on top of each other. And next thing you know, it looked like he about to make an Emmett part 2. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie, and he's getting ready to get released, and so he's walking to the exit, and they opening up the gates, and next thing you know, he a free man, free like a bird. And so now he looking both ways, trying to decide what path he gonna take in life. Meanwhile, we see Kev, and he's talking to the dean of the school, trying to make his case. And he's saying, look, I know I ain't in good standing, but if I make this payment, can I show as a good faith that I'm going to try to do right and get in this competition? He said, well, I'm going to see what I can do for you. And so he was happy and everything that he got this chance and this opportunity. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie, and he back in the same neighborhood right in front of that liquor store where Kev and Papa was. And he was thinking about how he was there before and how he had went wrong when he started drinking, going there and getting a little bit of that scissor, drinking that King Cobra, that old E. And so he decided maybe I should go and get a celebration drink like I did before. And then he realized, you know what? Nah, that's where I went wrong. And then he just kept on walking. So in the end, I think that was a pretty good episode. It showed that how Ronnie did get out on the technicality, but at the same time, I was wondering how is he affording his lawyer? But he did say it was pro bono, because I was thinking I ain't no way he can afford no lawyer like this, but she was working pro bono, and so she got him off on the technicality, and the reason she do it is because she trying to be a partner in the law firm. And it was funny when Papa's daddy was talking about he feel the anointing of a 3-piece, 4-piece dark, extra crispy. That was a good little line there. And Papa, he sure is the comic relief of the show. In the end, I want to thank everybody that support my work at patreon.com. And also, I want to thank everybody that sent money through PayPal donations. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like, and I'll see you next week. Peace.